Hey everybody. So today I want to spend some time talking about the Equaliser Proton Pen. This is made by Quadrant, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of the technical specs of it, as well as some of the pros and cons of this machine in my opinion, and then finally kind of an opinion on whether it's worth checking out or not. So for starters, there's your pen. That's what it looks like in the packaging. Packaging is really bare bones, which, who cares about fancy packaging? It's just going to take up space in your station. So this is a 5-watt rotary motor. Stroke length is adjustable, 0 to 4.5 mil. A simple turn there gives you your adjustment. So similar to a Hawk pen or I believe a stylus as well does that. There we go. Okay, and so your running range is between 7 volts and 11 volts. Even though on the lower end I feel like it may be a little low to actually do a tattoo with, but we'll get into that later. So the pros of this machine, I think for starters is cost. So I paid $450 Canadian for this machine, which works out somewhere in the like $350 range in American dollars, which is really low. Half the price of some of the other competitor machines, and good value for maybe what you're getting. As an entry-level rotary, I think it's really good just to maybe try out if you've never used a pen style before, to see how it feels, see if you like the experience of kind of what I would call a little more intuitive tattooing than using a machine. I spent about 15 years of my career strictly using traditional style tattoo machines and some kind of more traditional style rotaries. Before switching over to pens, and I feel like my work improved after kind of going towards a pen. And if I had had the option to try something like this out, I think it would have been helpful in deferring a little bit of the cost of switching over. So a lot of people, if you're switching over to a rotary or you're considering it, if you're going with kind of the top of the market ones, you're in the like almost $1,000 Canadian range. I'm not sure what they go for American, probably, in the like $600, $700, and then you've got to switch over to cartridges as well, maybe. So it's an investment. So I think this is really good for that. The other good stuff about this is the adjustability. I like being able to kind of, twist it on the fly and change a little bit of my depth. And certainly when actually tattooing with this thing, it is really soft. So the hit is really, really gentle, minimal damage to the skin. You can kind of work in at layers while you're tattooing and without overworking the skin, which is nice. And I think especially, if you have a little bit of a faster hand, one of the things you're going to wish for is that you could turn this machine up and get a better, kind of more solid hit out of it. I find that this is probably the perfect machine if you're looking to run it and maybe something else, in terms of this is your machine for your gray shading, your face of the portrait, your whatever, and you're going to want another machine to maybe run your dark blacks and your some of your more saturated areas, because I feel like for me at least, this one probably comes a little bit short of being able to really pack color in efficiently and really, keep it in there, just in terms of kind of how solid it hits. So along with the pros, let me run this a little bit for you. So that's it at full tilt, 11. So pretty nice and quiet when you consider, compared to kind of some of the other rotaries that I've used. It is good and quiet. And in terms of running, that's maybe the best of it. When you bring this thing down from 11, so we're going to drop all the way down to 7. don't know if you can still hear that. Really low. I don't think you could actually tattoo with it that low. I didn't try because my customers were paying for their tattoos, so I didn't want to chance anything. But it seems to be a little low. I think you'd probably start catching skin if you have any speed to your hands. So let's get into some of the cons about this machine, and there's a few of them. The first one that I noticed when I took this machine out of the box, I'm not sure if you can see there, this thing is covered in grease. That's not the finish of the machine, that's just grease. So there's a lot of grease in between the grip and the body of the machine, and it kind of leaks out from time to time, as well as inside. You can probably see it there. All that white stuff is actually grease where the cartridge engages, which to me is a bit of a problem. I find myself when I'm switching between cartridges, having a glob of grease on the end, on the post of the cartridge, which I don't know. I mean, it's not great. If you were using a cartridge without a membrane, I think that there'd be a little bit of problem in terms of, is that lubricant going into the tattoo, basically? And I'm sure it's food safe and all that kind of stuff, and that's all fine and good. But realistically, do you want to throw grease into your tattoos or not, kind of thing, right? Most people would say no. So that's one. Two, and probably the most serious to me, I'm going to run this real close to the mic so you can hear it. That little pop that hopefully comes across is the inconsistency of this motor. This thing does not run that smooth. It pops and gurgles, and I'm sure it's because it's full of lubricant. But what it does do is translate into not the most consistent runner while you're working. I feel like the hit is compromised a little bit. I feel that even for a customer listening to you tattoo with this, I had a few times where the person kind of perked up and went like, is that thing running properly? And obviously this is a person that has been tattooed enough to know what it's supposed to sound like. It doesn't sound right. So that's I guess the biggest thing for me. Some of the other minor things, these lights, I don't, maybe trying to make it look like futuristic or whatever when it's on, they're a distraction when it comes down to it for me. I bag the entire machine and the whole body, and inside the bag is a ball of light essentially while you're trying to work, and you're working away, and it just ends up being a distraction. So if I were going to use this machine daily, I would probably just electrical tape over them or something along those lines. I guess just to summarize everything, the pros, rather, great price point, good entry level, good starter machine if you want to see what it feels like to tattoo with this thing. On the downside, don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you think that this is going to be your be-all and end-all kind of daily driver machine, I would maybe think twice about that. I think that it is probably going to stay in my drawer and not really to get a whole lot of use. But I think for most people, you're going to end up finding something that maybe is better in short order, and kind of replacing it with a really good quality pen style rotary, because there are many of them out there. They're just going to cost you twice as much. So the big cons, are the way that it runs, the sputtering, the inconsistency, the lack of power, the lack of a solid hit, the lights. It's also a little poorly weighted, which I think I mentioned. I hope I mentioned. Poorly weighted to the back end Yeah, would I recommend this pen? Overall, no, I wouldn't. I wanted to give an honest review. I really wanted to really like this pen and try something different. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't meet my needs. It doesn't meet my requirements for what a good daily driver tattoo machine is going to be. When you're investing in something like this or any kind of cartridge machine, typically you need to consider the fact that you're not running 4 machines for 2 hours a day. If you're a guy like me who tattoos from 12 to 8 or 12 to 7 every single day, 5 or 6 days a week, this is in your hand. This thing is going all those hours. So would it measure up to that? Absolutely not. I guarantee you could kill this thing in 3 months of daily use like that. Whereas some of the other competitor machines, I've ran them nonstop every day for a year and not had to have them serviced. But I think the price point reflects on the quality, and that's kind of the bottom line of this machine. So again, this is all entirely my opinion. There are people that are making great tattoos with this machine every single day. They're happy with what it produces for them, and that's awesome. It's not the right machine for you, or for me rather. It may be the right machine for you, and that's great, and it's what's good about tattooing. My opinion may not be worth anything. If you're interested in seeing some of my work or some of the work that was done with the Proton Pen, you can check out my Instagram. It's requiemtattoo_Anthony. And you can kind of see if you think I'm completely full of crap and I can't tattoo anyway, so what's my opinion worth? Other than that, if anybody has any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I thank you so much for watching, and hopefully this helps a couple people. Okay, thank you.